Utility farms lose millions of shillings to vandalism of electricity infrastructure. Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation Chairman Professor Simon Gicharu estimates that the parastatal loses about 300 million shillings every year to acts of vandalism on electoral installations. Even though Kenya criminalized vandalism, which has seen several people sentenced to over 10 years in prison, Gicharu is of the opinion that involving the public could help reduce cases of vandalism of electricity installations.
We lose allowed Kenya shillings 300 million shillings annually through vandalism. And that is what I said, that time has come. Of course, now through the 47 energy centers that we are creating, that we will also make it as a task of each and every energy center to work with the local communities in order to make them part and parcel of trying to help us eradicate the issue of vandalism.
This emerged during a retreat by the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation Board and Management. Gicharu said the parastatal needs to employ more staff to cater for the expanded mandate of the corporation that includes overseeing rural electricity program, managing rural electrification program fund, and establishing energy centers in all counties.
I want to say we are telling Kenyans that we established a solar power plant in Garissa. It is there, you can go and see it, and we just don't want just to see it, but we also want to see what is coming from it. There are two good things from it, that we are going to earn 431 million shillings that will come to us once we build Kenya Power and lighten Kenya Power, that is.
Reporting for Channel 1 Business News, I'm Fiona Shuru.
As the government starts deducting 1.5% of the basic salary from workers to the affordable housing kitty, Has Consult is calling on the government to consider concentrating on affordable housing units for low-income earners as the private sector invests in high-end housing property to minimize competition.
So the private sector right now is heavily supplying the middle and upper end part of the market, and I would say that the more affordable housing sector is largely untouched. So if the government was to go into this area, I wouldn't say it's rivalry, but more providing a very undersupplied sector of the market. It may reduce the amount of price increases in the middle market.
The latest report by Has Consult says few Kenyans can afford to pay 20% more in rent in a single year, and there is need for construction of affordable housing units and increase mortgage financing. Has Consult says the crackdown on foreigners, especially those with invalid work permits, has slowed uptake of upmarket housing units.
Actual price indices is we saw two major overlying trends, and one was the fall in rental and sales prices for detached houses. And what we attribute this to is a large outflux of international residents from Nairobi in the last couple of years due to the global recession, but also more compounded now by government's stricter rules on work permits.
During the first 3 months of this year, apartment rentals grew steadily for the first time in a decade due to growing middle class and increased construction of high-rise blocks in Nairobi's satellite towns such as Juja, Kilimani, Ruiru and Ruaka.
We reported in January that 2018 has seen signs of a revival in apartment rents after nearly a decade of negative or flat growth caused by the bulge of building of new apartments, both as large high-rise blocks, for instance, across Kilimani, and as smaller multi-unit stories built by private landlords throughout Ruiru, Ruaka, Juja, and other Nairobi satellite towns.
The price of land in Nairobi's upmarket areas such as Upper Hill and Kilimani has stabilized after a surge in prices for the past 3 years.